Hey, I'm Tyler Jackson from Manhattan City Lifestyle Magazine. We're at Blueville Nursery today, taking a field trip, and we're not gonna go into the garden store this time because it is grafting season. Now, one neat thing that Blueville Nursery does that sets them apart from everybody else is they do juniper tree grafting, which it's taking one tree, adding it to another tree, basically, to make a brand new species of tree. And so we're gonna go talk to, of course, the ever so fun and great host, Keith Westervelt. He's gonna talk about tree grafting, but we're really gonna get to see his dad, the founder of Blueville Nursery, Mr. Darrell Westervelt, and he's gonna show us how the art of tree grafting, the art of juniper tree grafting is done. So we're gonna go inside the greenhouse now, and we're gonna pay a visit to the Westervelts, and they're gonna show us and teach us all about juniper tree grafting. So there's the one and only Mr. Keith Westervelt. And then we've got the man, the myth, the legend himself, Mr. Darrell Westervelt.
How are you?
Doing wonderful, Mr. Westervelt. How's your day going?
Well, I was born in 1935.
1935.
And my hands still work and my eyes still work, and I'm thankful.
Yep. Hey, you know what? Every day's a gift, right?
It is. Every day is a gift.
Every day. So the art of tree grafting. So this is something that, you know, we're celebrating 60 years of Blueville Nursery this year.
Yeah.
And this is something that you've been doing since the very beginning and probably a few years prior.
I did cutting grafts of juniper for a master's degree in horticulture way back there.
Back when it was the Kansas State Agricultural College?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Before you were born.
Probably even before my dad was born.
It could be.
Yeah. So now what are we doing here? What's the art of tree grafting? What does this entail?
Okay. This is the desired roots that we have.
Okay.
And it's a spreading juniper called Hetz, H-E-T-Z.
Okay.
And this is the desired plant we want to have, which would not grow decent roots. And so we graft this onto here. And a woody plant, there's a layer of cells that will multiply and heal.
Okay.
And so we're trying to, and you can see it right there. See that green?
The green on the outside of the brown?
Yeah.
Yep.
That's the live, and so I slice down there.
Okay.
And then I take this, which is a cyan wood, and I try to kind of match it up for the same size. And I cut it off, and I sharpen it.
Oh, okay.
It's just carpentry. See, there's my layer there, and see, I got way more than I need on this, and so.
Just like you say, it's carpentry. It's all little trial by error.
See what we can.
And so basically you just trim it down until it matches as close as possible, so that way it takes a successful take.
That was small.
Okay.
Hand me one of those bands.
Absolutely.
Thank you. You're a good man.
Well, thank you for letting me come out and see this process. This is pretty neat. So you take the two pieces.
And if you're lucky, you'll get 90% of them to grow.
Really?
Yeah.
So you get them grafted together, you rubber band them, put a little bit of wood glue on there to kind of really help let it take.
Yeah, it seals it so it doesn't dry out.
Okay, yeah, so it allows that, and it probably also allows for minimal scarring that way.
Yeah, it's just carpentry.
Yes, once we get it tied, we close the gap with wood glue to hold it together better there at the top.
And just like Mr. Westervelt said, kind of help keep the moisture in to
Yep.
prevent it from drying out.
Correct.
So just a little dollop on it, and that's it.
The first patent was cotton candy redbud. It's found about 3 miles west of the nursery here. John Show found it for me. And then we got one called Skinny Blue Jeans.
The most famous.
Most famous one, it's this Columnar Black Hill Spruce is blue, and then this brother's called Blue Thunderbolt.
Okay.
And then we just got a patent called Golden Rush. It's a spruce, it's golden. And we named that because the guy that's on Gold Rush, the show on Discovery Channel, found it for me.
Really?
Yeah, and then in March he'll come out, Andy Spinks will come out, it'll be called Hoffman's Gold.
Awesome.
So he's up mining in Alaska right now, so we named that after him.
So to create all these different juniper trees starts with grafting.
Right.
So you take, of course, the Hetzy rootstock, which you say is the best rootstock
Right.
available,
Yep.
which is the bottom branch that already has the root started.
Right, and we start that a year in advance.
Oh, okay.
So we'll take it off Hetzy established plants, leave them in there, root them, and then shut them down and let them go dormant. And then we'll wake them back up, and then about January 1st, we'd like to start grafting them. And if you kind of envision a cut on your finger, it's kind of the same thing. You want to keep that cut lots of moisture in it, and you also want to make sure that you keep the dirt out of it.
Yep.
And so same thing is we'll make a cut, and that's why we put the wood glue on, the rubber band, and then we'll keep the peat moss around it to keep the humidity way up.
Oh, okay.
In about 6 weeks, we'll know if Kelly did his job well over there. And we'll get about 85 to 90% take.
Wow.
And then we'll lose another 5% as we move them around and shift them up. So usually the good grafters will get about 80% of established plants. That's pretty good. Dad's probably around 85 if he's doing it well. What we're going to do this year is leave the rubber band on a little longer, let the sunlight just kind of, sunlight or like a tire outside, the sunlight will decompose that rubber band there, and we hopefully get a better graft.
It's kind of like a scab. It just automatically falls off.
Yeah, it falls off.
Awesome.
So, but you don't want to scar. You want it as clean as you can, and so it's, we can take you down and show you the grafts he did last year if you want to, and you can see where the mother plant's been cut off and the new ones there and how big they are.
Awesome.
They're pretty good size.
And of course, last year we came out and took photos and put it in the July issue of Manhattan City Lifestyle magazine. So I'd love to see those ones. So we get them grafted, get them tied, get them glued, and then what's the next step? It goes into a smaller greenhouse?
We'll go into it. We got a grafting greenhouse where 6 of these black crates right here will fit in there.
Okay.
With peat moss all the way up, and then we got them covered up, and the humidity in that house is about 100%.
Wow.
So we'll water, and then the moisture will keep them hydrated in there, and then 6 weeks we'll take them apart and see what we've done.
Awesome. And honestly, this is one thing that separates Blueville Nursery from everywhere else.
Yeah.
There's nobody else that does this, and it's a, like Mr. Westervelt said, it's carpentry, and and there's a true art behind it.
Yep. And what we're doing now is we're working on getting a male cedar tree onto a Hetzy understock, so males won't repopulate. So cedar trees have male and females in the wild, and so the ones that are males will have pollen all over them right now. They'll be just yellow with pollen. The females will have berries. And so our idea is to do a male cedar that won't spread in your pasture, because the birds will eat the seeds of the cedar, and then you have cedars all over your pasture.
And well, just like they say, a cedar tree in the Flint Hills is like a weed.
Right.
And they just
Yep.
keep growing, and they just
Yep.
keep spreading, and that's just kind of how the forests have happened
Yep.
across the eastern
It
part
is.
of the country, and how
And what everybody doesn't know is when the bird eats that seed, it gets stratified. So this stratified means temp. Strat is temp. And as it goes through the bird's digestive system, it breaks that seed coat and it makes them germinate a lot easier.
Oh, okay.
So nature's running its course, having the heat of that bird heating up that seed and cracking that seed coat, so when it comes out the other end, it germinates a lot faster.
And it's already ready to go.
Ready to go. Got a little fertilizer on it too, probably, I would guess. So, kind of fun. Okay. Yeah.
The wood chipper and the trailer, I'm just not even, so you can tell me.
Okay.
So you said this is peat moss that you're
Yeah,
putting in
this
here?
peat moss is to maintain the high moisture level around the graft. So we pack each plant in peat moss to keep the graft moist, so it will have a better chance of growing, of the graft being successful.
Okay, these are all head-side juniper cuttings that we've taken off the head-side mother plants out in the field. There's a whole row of them out there. And these will be stuck in these flats and rooted. So it'll take them about 8 to 10 months to root. And then we'll take these out and pot them up in October, shut them down, let them go dormant, wake them back up. When they start showing white roots out the edge of the pot, then we can start grafting them in the greenhouse. Those out, so this is the first stage. The second stage can be in the fall when these are rooted. People will buy these by the flat. They want a rooted head side cutting, and there's about 50 in the flat. And then you can get $1 a plant. And then the next stage is a grafted one. And a grafted one brings about $6 a plant.
And of course, grafted is what we just saw the guys doing.
Yeah, once they heal up, once the graft heals up, and we can sell them in a 4-inch pot, 4-inch graft will be about $6. If you put that graft into a 1 gallon, you can get about $10 for it.
Gotcha.
Yep.
So, now, would these grow on their own by themselves as they are right now, or is it still needs a little bit of help?
Yeah, it does. It needs help. It needs help getting rooted, and we'll put them into a bigger pot. So they're in little cell packs right now. They're not rooted, but these are little cell packs, and these will be put into those 4-inch pots that we were grafted on.
Interesting.
So they'll go in that 4-inch pot, and then we'll shut them clear down, wake them back up, and then when roots get out to the edge, when you get live roots on there and they start changing colors, they start getting blue, then you know the flow of goose stuff's going up in the stem of it. It's time to graft. We can start taking cuttings on these in the plants out in the field in November and stick them. So we'll do this we'll do a little juggling act. We'll take this while we're waiting for the others to wake up.
Gotcha.
We pot it up in the fall once they wake up January 1st. So usually in November and December, we'll take these, and then January we'll start grafting. And then what's cool, any of them that don't take, if the graft doesn't take, I go ahead and pot those up, and I got people that'll buy a 1-gallon head side to put out in their field for a stock plot for them if they do some grafting.
Gotcha. So even if it doesn't take, when we talk about it taking, is whenever the graft actually starts to grow.
The 20% that doesn't take,
yes.
I don't throw them away. I'll actually pot them up into a 1-gallon. So this was grafted last year at this time, and that's how big this has got.
Wow.
So if you look right here, this little one right here is the mother plant.
Okay.
And then this is the Taylor that we grafted onto there.
Wow.
So you can see, like I said, it's like your finger. It's healed over, and then you cut off the mother plant, and this thing will go. And as soon as these go, these are pot up in probably October, November. I had some extra help. We potted them up. When these flush in the spring will be about April. But this is a Taylor, and then they'll take this and line it out in their field and grow this all out to a 6-8 foot plant, which will take about 3 or 4 years. So you can see how much that's 1 year growth from that little tiny graft.
Well, these were the ones that we saw last year for the magazine.
Yep.
The July issue of Manhattan Sea Lifestyle.
So you you got mama that gave up her life for her new baby.
That is awesome.
So there's a lot of these. These are some that we did in Oregon last year. This is a narrow Black Hill spruce, a real narrow one I found in the field.
Those are awesome.
And they decided to discontinue. The same thing happens here. This right here is a Norway understock, and then we take the mother plant that we want, the columnar Black Hill spruce, graft it on there, and it takes. These are a little more difficult, so I have my Oregon guys. This is a 2-year-old graft, so it doesn't grow as much as that other one. So that's a Black Hill spruce. So I like it. It's got a cool needle too.
Oh, absolutely. Now, how big do these guys get?
These will go, well, these will get 40 feet tall too, but they only grow about that much a year. That's last year's growth right here. So they don't grow very fast.
They grow slow.
Yeah.
But they grow tall, by golly.
And this one right here is called Gold Rush.
Oh, yes, yes, yes.
Golden Rush. I talked about the guy who was on Gold Rush's show.
Yeah.
He found this tree for me. This guy decided in Oregon, he's down in McMinnville, decided he didn't want to do it, so I bought all the plants that he had grafted for me. And then I'll promote it and try to find another grower that wants to grow it. And I've got a couple guys right now that have some interest in it. And if we can get interest, but it's patented Golden Rush spruce is what it's going to be called on the marketplace. And it costs about $4,200 a patent. It's for 20 years, and then when you start selling the plants, you get $1 a tree to help pay off the patent. So I've got to sell 4,000 of these before I start making any money on them.
Sure.
So what we're doing here at Blueville is we're not playing blackjack, but we kind of are. This is really craps. Craps is better odds.
It really is.
Yeah, so this is, you know, you're really gambling that somebody's going to take this and grow, but one or two patents out of all of them will pay off all the patents. So Skinny Blue Jeans is on a track right now. We've got about 10,000 a year of those growing, and that's going to pay off a lot of the patents.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So we have just a few in
just a few.
So
it smells so good.
The left side is all Taylor's.
Okay.
And then the right side is a combination of several things. But these are all grafted last year. And then we talked about a male cedar.
Yes.
These are my male cedars from last year.
Okay, and you said these are pollinating right now?
Right here, if you look right here, you can see the pollen. This is all pollen on there.
Oh, okay.
And that's where I know it's a male. Now these won't have berries on them. And I'm going to introduce this one as neutered tomcat. Maybe. May not be real politically correct, but we're going to have fun with that one. And what you want to do is when you introduce a plant, you want a memorable name with just a straight out botanical name. So you want a catchy name like Skinny Blue Jeans that people remember.
Yeah.
And then it doesn't matter. Then they know what it is and they'll start coming in. So neutered tomcat's going to be a pretty cool one.
That will be fun.
We'll see. These are all Medoras.
But like the Golden Frost Juniper, that's a great name too.
Well, I was going to do Golden Frost Bite, and they said that's too negative. My original name on that was Golden Highlights, like a highlighter. And they said that's too boring.
Yeah.
So we went to Golden Frost and dropped the Bite. And just did. And then Blue Thunderbolt is Skinny Blue Jeans' brother, but it's a wide one. It's a real wide one.
Oh, okay.
That one required a dry erase board and a little whiskey to get that one, but we got it done. But that's how you do it. You just start putting names, a characteristic of the plant that describes the plant. So Golden Frost has a golden needle and looks like frost on the tips.
Yes, it does.
So you got Golden Frost. A neutered tomcat can't have babies. So a neutered cedar can't have babies anymore. So it's kind of a catchy name.
Clever.
Yeah, clever.
Clever. That's another good question. So obviously plants are dormant in the wintertime in the non-growing season. Do you water these guys? Is there, what's the protocol
we
with that?
water these 4 or 5 times with my buddy's worm casting tea.
Okay.
It's worm castings that he strains, and then we'll spray over with the sprayer of worm casting tea on top of this, which gives them a little fertilizer growth.
Sure.
And then if you look down in the pot, if you look right here, these little balls right here are called osmocote. And these release over a 9-month period. And they release with heat and water. And so this provides nutrients for 9 months. It's called osmocote. So they make it everybody a grower. But the soil mix is virtually a bark mix. It has no soil in it. This is out of Nacogdoches, Texas.
How about that?
And they call it shakeout brown. It's pine bark without anything, without any soil at all in it. It might have a little bit of worm castings in it.
But how old are these ones?
They're a year older than those ones in the 3 gallon. 1 more year.
And what size of pot are these?
That's a 7 gallon squat.
7 gallon
Seven
squat.
Or,
Okay.
Or 6 gallons. There's some 7 gallons. There's some 6 gallons there too.
And these all started with those little head side rootstocks.
Yeah.
And the scions on top.
If you go down here, you can kind of
yep.
see there's the mother plant still there.
Yep.
There's the big plant.
Yep.
It's still there.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yep.
This is cool.
Yeah.
So now when you get the scion or the part that you graft onto the rootstock, does it come from
Right
these
here.
types?
Yeah, I'll come in here. I forgot this one was in there. I'm glad we came down. I'll come and take that off. It's got to be about 3/16 of an inch that he can whittle on it. So that one's big enough. There's probably a couple 3 on here. There's not very many.
Man, nature is amazing.
But that's the same plant, but it's blue.
And so you say this one's about 2 to 3 years?
That's 1 year graft. 1 more year, 2 years. It's a 2 year.
2 year.
2 year.
Man.
So from that one, that other greenhouse is 3 gallon. This is 1 more year after that.
How amazing is that?
Yeah. Right here. That's about ideal size.
Okay.
That you can get it. You can get nice. If you mess, the good thing about it is you mess up on this side, you get the other side.
Yep.
Some guys.
That's why you don't want it too thin.
Right. And some guys will graft them on both sides and then cut the best one off because they don't have any confidence in their grafting.
Gotcha. But they also probably don't do it to the scale that you do.
Right. Well, this is small scale. There's guys in Oklahoma I used to work for. They do 30,000 of them. There's a guy in Oregon, in Canby, Oregon, that does 20,000 tailors alone.
Wow.
So we're small scale, but those guys are popping them out.
You say you do 3,000 to 5,000 a year?
Yeah, we'll probably do almost 6 this year the way it's going.
Okay. Okay.
So we'll do 6. But this is basically comes out of that flat that we saw first, and then we pot these up in November in these pots, and then shut them down and wake them back up.
That's
So
fascinating.
There's heat tubes underneath this, and we got it right against the sand.
Okay. So they don't get, they don't
Last
freeze.
year we put it on top of cypress mulch, and it was too slow to go because it wasn't right down in the heat. So there's all the grafts. And if you put your hand down in there, the humidity's probably 85%.
Yes.
We'll water these, and then in 6 weeks we'll come and look at these. And see, there's one that's about half full.
Okay.
But you can see the water. Look at the water run off the back of there.
Oh yeah,
That's how
absolutely.
much humidity we got in each one of these.
Well, you can just feel it when you lift them up.
That's what we want.
And oh yeah, you can feel the heat
And I
and
call
the
these
humidity coming
grafting.
out.
So a lot of pig farmers will have a fairing crate on their pigs, their old sow, so she won't roll over on the piglets. These are my grafting fairing crates. That's what I call them. This first house is the very first one we did.
From this season?
Yep.
Okay.
And so I try to start out with my new inventions first. That is Golden Frost.
This one is?
Yep,
Okay.
Golden Frost. This was the blue one out of the Botanical Garden out of Denver.
Okay.
So there's 25 in a flat. So there's 100 Golden Frost in there, and I'm going to get some more tomorrow.
And if they 85-90% take,
Yep.
then you get 85 to 90 of those.
Yep.
That
So-
grew into be beautiful juniper
Big
trees.
Big trees.
That's
Big
awesome.
Big junipers. Yeah. It's probably that's a 1 year graft. Shifted it from a 1 year graft, shifted to a 1 gallon, shifted to a 3 gallon. It's probably a 3-year-old tree, maybe a 4-year-old tree.
So they do grow slow, but they grow pretty.
In Oregon, you get a lot more growth because they get
That much more
60
rain.
inches of rain.
Yeah.
More. But this is what a Medora looks like, and these are probably 5 years from the babies,
Wow.
the baby grafts.
5 years later, look
Yep,
at what those
5.
become.
Yep.
Just a nice, luscious, beautiful juniper plant. Smells wonderful, and those are they just really do make the world a better place, don't
Yep, they do. They smell good.
they? They do.
And you put your hand in here, they're breathing. If you put your hand in there, they're cool. That means the plant's bleeding. So if you got a plant that's dead, or you think it's dead, put your hand in there. If it's not cool, it's dead.
We are so connected in this world.
It's crazy. And these are probably 6 years ago, he grafted these. So that's what they look like after 6 years.
What a cool tree.
Yeah.
And you can make a nice little windrow out of these
Oh,
things.
So I've whacked on this one pretty good too, but it doesn't hurt the trees to take that off. It actually, when you cut here, it pushes growth back into the plant, makes them fuller.
Now,
You
so
cut that.
we were talking about the neuter tomcat, cedar trees like this, are they still able to?
These are females.
Okay, okay, okay.
So if you look on here, there's some female. Some of them will have berries.
Gotcha.
The way you can tell the difference is a male will have tons of pollen pods on it. So it'll be a lot. This doesn't have much pollen on it at all. And you can look, and there's probably some berries on here somewhere.
There's berries on the other one.
Yep. So there may be a male in here too. You just never know.
Sure.
I'll come and take right there. That'll be the sign wood right there for
yeah.
That'll be the sign.
Look how tall that guy is.
Yeah.
You said this one's about 6 years old also?
Yep. These are the same. They're the same age as those. That's how much faster they grow.
Man.
But look at the growth though.
And starting to get some pretty thick wood through the trunk.
Yeah, and this is going to be. See, female. There's a berry right there.
Gotcha.
See, they got berries on them. So this is a female right here.
Interesting. So it's female cedar trees that have berries.
Mm-hmm.
Opposite of the other parts
right.
of nature.
And then what we talked about is these berries a bird will eat these berries.
Yeah.
It'll go through the thing, and then they'll
help germinate.
Well, they'll actually be flying and maybe do their stuff in the air, and you never know.
And that's how the story of the cedar tree spreads to the foothills.
Yep, that's how it spreads everywhere. Those damn birds.
Yep. And so then these are the skinny blue jeans?
Skinny blues.
Look at how awesome that is. Goodness.
Yeah, and what I liked about it had a blue needle on it. Most Black Hill spruce don't have that blue needle.
Oh yeah. Now, how old would you say this one is? At least how many years removed from grafting?
5 years old.
Okay.
5 years old to get that size. And they all grow a little different. We've dug a lot of them out of here because they've all grown a little different. They were all the same size when we put them in. And there's one over there, it's bigger. These are smaller. They just depend on the soil. And then those wider ones over there are Blue Thunderbolt.
Oh, okay.
And then that narrow one in the middle is Taylor.
But you
okay,
but you said the Blue Thunderbolt is the brother to the Skinny Blue Jeans, just a little wider.
A little wider. Right.
Gotcha. And then the Thunderbolt, I see why you call it that, because it's just straight up, and I mean that's an iconic tree. And so this is the mother tree
for Blue Thunderbolt.
For Blue Thunderbolt, okay. And then
that's the mother tree for Skinny Blue Jeans. She's getting tired. She's getting old. She's about to pass away, it looks like.
Yeah.
So she's not quite as blue. It's got the blue needle on it, though. And I got some of these. This is probably a full 25, 30-year-old tree. Probably a 30-year-old tree.
So that's 30 years.
But you can see, once trees they don't push as much growth out.
Oh, sure.
Most of the growth, the good cuttings are clear up there at the top. So those real long ones.
Oh yeah, and she's got pine cones up there.
Yep.
How about that?
So when they knock the top out of it, it's got a bad toupee with pine cones. It just looks terrible.
Man, these do get huge, don't they?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, this thing when I first came to Blueville 25 years ago was like this big.
That's amazing.
Short. So.
Well, Keith, my friend, I sure appreciate you showing me around Blueville. This is a pretty cool place, and even more special to be able to see that stuff up front. So thank you so much for
thank you for coming. We love taking care of customers in Manhattan. It's
Absolutely.
been very good to us.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
60 years and counting.
Yep.
So come see him just west of the roundabout at Scenic Avenue and Anderson right here in Manhattan. What's your exact address?
4539 Anderson, a quarter mile past the roundabout on Anderson Avenue. That's how we describe it. It used to be 2.5 miles west of West Loop. That's about it. So, but now it's just past Scenic Drive, a quarter mile past Scenic Drive, and we'd love to see you. We're lonely this time of year, so come see us.
Be sure to come see Keith. He'll keep you laughing and also teach you some stuff. And hope you learned some things from this video.
Yep. And go Cats. You know, we got to say that.
Yeah, always. Go Cats. Always go Cats.
All right, we'll see you.
Hey, from Manhattan City Lifestyle Magazine and Fox 43 AM Live at Blueville Nursery, I'm Tyler Jackson.